A very good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of the Candid Talk. As usual, my name is Evan Sokinyi. Well, this cold morning, I'm joined by the one and only political analyst. Of course, is the most sought after, Professor Herman Manyora. How are you, Prof?
Well, thank you.
I've just seen you've been in communication with a number of people here.
Yes.
The press looking for you left, right, and center.
Yes,
Why?
yes. To share my thoughts and to help Kenyans keep the conversation alive. Yes.
Definitely.
To keep the hope in place.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's been a while since we met here. And how was your Jamhuri Day?
Oh, it was wonderful.
Did you go for the celebrations?
Well, I had a number of issues, but we finished.
Yeah.
Something
happened quite mysteriously on that particular day.
Yes.
I saw a number of people were given honors and awards, and I expected your name to be in that list. What happened? Don't you have connections? I don't know which basis are those honors being given?
Those honors are not honors. Those are just the usual Kenyan things. You see, we are borrowing things from people and we don't keep the tradition of those things. In the UK, for example, to be knighted by the king or the queen until recently, it's a great honor. It's a great honor to become Sir Manyora, Sir Kenyi. It's a great honor. To get a medal from the empire is a great honor. And it is never in doubt as to why you are getting it. But here we get somebody standing on a queue, going to vote, eating githeri, we give him even if you got an honor alongside a githeri man, not that the githeri is a bad thing, and unknown crooks. What is the honor in receiving an honor from the president when the same parade has people of dubious character? I wouldn't even value that honor.
So you've got no interest in such kind of matters?
But I don't. It's our way of doing things.
Okay. Now, Prof, let's diverge into, let's get into today's conversation. And of course, we've seen what is actually taking place. I've been following keenly on the case of Cherera for right now. Definitely, you know, the three commissioners resigned, and one commissioner is still adamant. And she said that she is ready, that is in Masit, to face the tribunal that was actually constituted by the president, actually after suspending them. And something actually took place, and we are actually waiting for the tribunal to begin the sessions for investigating and actually processing Irene Masit's case. And we noticed something recently, that in that case, Wafula Chebukati, the outgoing chairperson of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission, is listed as the chief agent. From that kind of perspective, okay, even if you look at the number of people who've been listed as those who would be witnessing or other witnesses against Irene Masit, you see Wafula Chebukati, the other commissioners, Boya Molu, the IEBC CEO Hussein Majan. Don't you think that Masit's goose is cooked already?
You know, that thing violates every word in the book. Whether in the book of natural justice or in the book of law or in the book of humanity, every word of it is violated. The law of natural justice. How can those accusing you be the ones running the show? The president is the one forming the tribunal, constituting the tribunal, and he's already judged you already guilty. So, I mean, what kind of justice would you expect?
What do you think is wrong with the president forming this kind of tribunal?
There's nothing wrong with
it's a constitutional requirement.
There's nothing wrong with the president constituting or forming the tribunal and even suspending them. But there's everything wrong with the president saying they are guilty. They are con people out to subvert the will of the Kenyan people. Then going ahead to be the one constituting the jury. Doesn't work like that anywhere in the world. Your bias is already clear. What justice do you expect? Yeah.
So what option do you think the president perhaps may have had? Because one, I heard you mention that the president is actually on a revenge mission. I wonder how true that statement is and whether you still hold on to that. But what option does he have?
The president has a lot of options. The first option was to dismiss that thing. Was to tell those people engaged, just stop what you are doing. this thing will come out badly. It will leave us looking badly and vengeful and out on revenge. Stop. Because this thing is being fast-tracked. There was one already there against Chebukati. Nobody has processed it. This one came recent, is being processed. So you can see there is an attempt to quickly create position for new commissioners with the 2027 in mind. So if I were the president, I wouldn't go that route.
What then does this tell of our governance system? Because if there was a petition actually targeting, or rather against Wafula Chebukati, the other commissioners, of which were on his other side, and actually accusing them of violating the constitution and so on and so forth. And then there was also this petition against the Cherera 4 commissioners. Why do you think it could be very easy for the court, or rather the procession of all these things to take place, like they've left Chebukati's issue alone, but they're quickly processing the issue of the Cherera 4 and moving on with it?
Medal, and you say I should go for the medal, even if I was given, I wouldn't go. To receive a medal with Chebukati, the same, I wouldn't take it.
And that is why I was wondering.
No, I wouldn't.
That is why I was wondering. And I remember there was a time that we had a conversation here, and I was telling you, like, my question was this: now, whom do you think is telling us the truth here? Because now we saw the president mention Wafula Chebukati as our country hero. Indeed, he received the award, the one that I'm just asking you here. He was awarded as one of the heroes. Let him, not actually him alone, but even the other commissioners, the likes of Boya Molu, they were in the list of presidential awards during the Jamhuri session.
The Greeks, in the Greek mythology, we read, and people have quoted it oftentimes, that when the gods want to destroy you, they first make you mad. You don't see even very obvious things. You dance around the danger. I keep giving an example of Raila and Uhuru. They were very simple things they would have seen. They would have won this election. They would not have lost it. But they were not able to see even the most simple, basic things. And the Ruto is playing the same game. He's not even seeing the most basic things. What do you have to do with cheap things like Cherera here? The anger, I've kept repeating about the anger that people hold in this country. You need to let it recede, to die off. Let the embers go off. You don't poke. You don't remind people of bygones. You let them quickly forget, because human nature is very interesting. There is nothing in human nature that time can't heal. No pain that time can't deal with. No injury that time cannot heal in human activities. So people are annoyed with this election. They think it was stolen. People are annoyed with Chebukati. Give them time and they will forget all those things. Now, instead of letting that go in that direction, you constantly reminding people. You are taking them back. The Cherera 4, in my view, is a big mistake that Ruto may live to regret. When he will be watching from some corner, and me, I normally tell them, when you are watching from some corner, things have gone back bad, you ask yourself, you mean I couldn't see this? Where Uhuru is and Raila, they are asking themselves, you mean we couldn't see this? This we couldn't see? So Ruto will be in some corner and saying, you mean I couldn't see this? And Manyora is telling me. There is no other way of reading the Cherera thing other than revenge. Other than 2027. You want to revenge? You want to create a new commission that is compliant? Kibaki did that, and you saw where it landed us in 2007. You don't want to pursue that path. Because the perception is you are out for revenge. The perception is you want to remove these 4 commissioners so that you bring those who are compliant with your eyes on 2027. You can't change that perception. It is there. It doesn't have to be true. But that is why it is. So when you are seated somewhere and you have lost the election in 2027, or you've gone home earlier than 2027, you are sitting somewhere and you are William Ruto and asking, you are saying, you mean I couldn't see this? And I've said before, people around you will not tell you the truth. If he had people to tell him the truth, they will tell him, Bwana Rais, hii vitu ya kina Cherera wachana nazo. Forget about it.
No, Prof, my question is this. What if there is some truth in what the president, okay, in the president's perception to the Cherera 4? What if there is some truth?
Which truth?
Because according to the president, these are okay, in his own words, he said these are rogue commissioners.
Yes.
Who
But
are out there to
but
subvert
others
the
have
will of the people.
But others have said, so is Chebukati.
And so they are saying, but according to him, Chebukati
That
is a
is
hero.
him, Chebukati is good. But there are others who say Chebukati is a rogue chairman, a rogue commissioner. If you went to the Supreme Court judgment and you had to use that judgment to indict these commissioners, whom will you indict between Chebukati and Cherera? By merely looking at the Supreme Court judgment, Chebukati stands indicted, stands accused more than these four. In fact, the Supreme Court seems to be saying these people had nothing.
So if you are, if at all that is anything to go by, because I see a situation whereby you would say that perhaps these are heroes, just like we've seen the president and Raila Odinga actually clash on who is telling the truth between the four commissioners and the Chebukati team. And perhaps a number of Kenyans, let me say those who are on the other side, would perhaps believe that it's the Cherera 4 who should actually go home. Do you think the president has got a mandate here to bring us all so that we experience some sort of a unity as a country? And does he have that kind of will and power to sort all these issues all at once?
The president has the power by law to do what he has done. And he has done it. But the president, according to me, should be a politician. To rise above the mere requirements of law here and go behind the tent and talk to his people, tell them, I forget about this. Because whichever way you look at it, however genuine the petitioners are, people think it is Ruto who has sent them. And that is the truth. That's what people will think. That's the perception. This is a Ruto move, even if he has nothing to do with it. So, since you know that, then you tell those people, please, wacha tujenge ka inchi bwana. You forget about this. Let's build the country. But if you're asking me whether it's Chebukati who is in the wrong or the Cherera, you're asking Manyora my view. These commissioners are all useless, and I've said it as much. I once said it on Citizen TV I think, when these four were was it nominated or appointed or whatever it is. I said it is the best we can have. Now you can see. I said it on Citizen TV, and I think the host was not happy with it. And I told him I mean it. And I explained. I say, an election can bring down a country. It has done that in many places. We almost lost in 2007. You mess in an election, and 50 years down the line, you'll be still trying to build a country that is already gone. You see what I'm saying? If you mess a country like Kenya today, you'll be my age before you sort out the mess that you have created today. You'll be my age today. So you want to be very careful about an election. And you're beginning by getting the best the country has. So I was asking myself, is this the best we can have? When you look at Chebukati with these three, and then you look at Cherera with these, with the Chebukati 3 and the Cherera 4, it is the best this country can have to run an election.
So
that's
for
just
you,
a joke.
for you,
We are a nation of jokers.
But they're qualified, Prof.
No, which qualification? We are just jokers. You can't pick people like this to handle an election, and they have proved they can't. Chebukati has proved they can't run an election. These four people have proved, even if they wanted to mess the election, look at how kindergarten they were, how juvenile they were in their approach. I mean, if I was there and I wanted to mess the election, I'll do a much more serious job to mess the election than what they were doing. So it shows what I'm saying is right. These people, they are good Kenyans. They can be given good jobs, but not run an election.
If what you're saying,
an election can bring down a country.
If what you're saying is right, then what is wrong with the president getting rid of them? The four?
No, you are not getting what I'm saying. Get the point. The point is, from the word go, these are not the best. These are just people, good people. But they cannot be the people to give an election, to run in a country. There are many other things they can do, but not running an election.
But now
so the beginning point is for Kenyans to be serious. And stop games of 2027, whether it is Raila or Ruto or whoever. Let us be serious as a country. Knowing very well, God has been kind to this country. We've been lucky. I cannot use another word. We've been lucky to survive. Others better than us have gone down. There is nothing special we have given God. to keep us afloat, even when we have messed everything around us. But we continue to behave as if we have bribed God. Atakasirika, hata Mungu atakasirika, atawachilia. You see what I'm saying? Let's just get serious. Say, how do you want to handle an election in the future? Let's stop the games. Let's just say, which is the best way to handle an election? Let's have a national conversation. Once we agree on something, then let's pursue that and put in some legal way, structure, and say, this is how we should be managing our elections going forward. But if ever a president coming, they think they can use that opportunity to put people in office who can act in their favor. We are playing with fire.
The IEBC being an independent body, are you trying to allude to the fact that Ruto, having been declared the president and already been sworn in, should have just let the IEBC operate as it is?
Yeah, that's just the way it is. And because we have 5 years. In those 5 years, we should sit down and become serious, get serious as a country, and ask ourselves, are we sure we are going to be as lucky as we have been over the years? And the answer is certainly no. We can lose it the way we almost did in 2007. There are many people who don't know in 2007 and in 2017, this country would have gone down. The sort of people who rubbish the handshake, without knowing if Raila had not really accepted to be in the handshake with Uhuru. Probably this Kenya, as we know, it would not be there. If people didn't make sacrifices, if the international community didn't come in, if people like Raila and Kibaki didn't sacrifice in 2007, maybe we would not be having this country as we know it. So why would we continue playing with the elections? We must sit down, have a national conversation, and agree going forward. We must have a way of managing elections because they can bring down a country. Yeah.
Now, getting back to these 4 commissioners, don't you think it was perhaps a good idea for Irene Masit to just quit the way the others quit?
She's perhaps, I may be wrong. The only explanation why she hasn't quit, her not quitting will be the reason why the tribunal will sit. So it is, in my view, and I could be wrong, it could be engineered from somewhere. Weka. Kaa ndio hii tribunal ifanye nini? Ifanye kazi. Because if you also go, the tribunal will not, there will be no sense in wasting public funds. Weka. So it could be engineered. So that once she's there, the tribunal continues, and then the so-called unearthing things. Yaya centers, where, you know those kind of things. That is serving a very cheap agenda, and I can tell whoever it is, even if it's President Ruto, that is serving a very cheap agenda that has no benefit in the end. That just serves to remind Kenyans of a bad election that has the potential of putting us in a very bad state. So those are cheap games, all of them. So must it remain, the tribunal continues, we unearth things, well, people there, so and so is going to center to meet the commissioners, M-Pesa send so and so. But those are things children do, not mature people in charge of government. The moment you become president and form government, you are supposed to be above these small little things. And by the way, it is little things that bring governments down. Yeah. Little things, you forget about them. Let small things remain small. Let small people remain small. Let the people who wanted to subvert the will of the people feel ashamed. Let those who thought you could not become president remain ashamed, feel embarrassed. You serve them better that way. They feel ashamed. Their ill intentions did not succeed. But when you follow them, then they draw sympathy. Then they have a following. Then you give Raila the reason to go on the streets. And nobody can be sure of what you get when people go to the streets. Who can be sure? Allowing people to go to the streets is a bad mistake. Because you can't be sure of the outcome. Not even Raila himself can be sure. Once you start the streets, you are no longer in control. Government is not in control. Government cannot control riots. No, not in the 21st century. No, it can't. How can you control? More you control riots, you can't. South Africa was controlling the Soweto crowds, but now, even now, they can't. Governments all over the world can no longer control riots. You can't. And Raila himself, once this thing assumes a life of his own, even Raila will have no control over the mass action. He will sit helplessly as he watches. Things getting from bad to worse, out of control. So the best thing you want to do, you don't want to get there. And you avoid getting there by letting bygones be bygones. Let small people remain small people. Let stupid people remain stupid people. Let them watch as you bring them to shame. That despite all their machinations, all their schemes, all their evil designs, you are able to emerge victorious and govern and let them be ashamed. That's how you do it.
Now, finally, are you trying to allude to the fact that the president is making a very big mistake that he will later regret by going after these 4 commissioners?
Correct. That you can put on record. But Manyora says, first of all, whether it is true or not, people believe, from a perception point of view, the president is behind this game. What he has said doesn't make the matter any better. He's already adjudged them guilty. Okay? So people think you are behind this thing. Number one. Number two, you are opening new wounds and stepping in old wounds. Rubbing in salt. In a country that is undergoing a lot of pain. Pain from a bad election, pain from economic hard times, and many other problems. You don't want to remind people small things like those. Let them forget and forge the country ahead. Concentrate on uniting the country.
Following the Cherera 4 case, actually go all the way to the parliament, and now we are having this tribunal here. Do you see any of them surviving, even the Irene Masit? Of course, you said that the government's hand is actually being seen on this. Do you see any of them surviving at all?
If this thing goes on, they have already been judged guilty. How can they survive? They have already resigned. Chesiti is just there, according to me, to make sure the tribunal continues. But she will also follow them.
So all these are just shows. Finally,
it is nothing. But let me finish by saying this. Anybody, Raila, the president, whoever it is, who looks at things in terms of 2027 will be very disappointed. The road to 2027 is very rough. To get to 2027 is not an easy matter. So if your designs, everything you do is informed by 2027, you'll lose. You'll fail, and you'll fail badly. Just do what needs to be done and let 2027 take care of itself. Yeah.
Let 2027 take care of itself. Of course, that's a very good point of wrapping up this conversation from Professor Herman Manyora here. Ladies and gentlemen, we are still on the ground and we are keeping watch on what is actually taking place in this country. As a group of the Nairobi Review, we are here to keep you informed and give you critical analysis of everything that is taking place in this country, as we wish President William Ruto all the best in his endeavors. Let's wait and see what actually will become of Irene Masit, the only remaining commissioner among the Cherera 4. Ladies and gentlemen, till we have this conversation again, have yourself a very lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.